Listen, we living in a time where everybody talking, but nobody really listening. Where every post sound like truth, but most of it's just pain in disguise. See, social media done turned love into competition, turned unity into content, and made the opposite gender look like the enemy. But that's the game. That's how they build it. They programmed the algorithm to feed on emotion. Because hate spreads faster than healing, and division keeps people scrolling. They told you power was about who gets the spotlight, about who gets the followers, the attention, the praise. But that ain't power. That's presentation. The internet been selling dreams like it's candy, and too many people been eating it up thinking it's nourishment. But what it really did was flip the meaning of strength. Now it's all about who looks the most unbothered, who walks away first, who can act like they don't care. They taught people that emotion is weakness, that compassion is vulnerability, that softness is something to be ashamed of. Social media took the word empowerment and wrapped it in ego. It started rewarding performance over peace, validation over value. The system figured out real quick, if you feed people with attention, they'll starve for truth. So it started making empowerment look like proving something. Like every post got to be a message, every caption got to be a statement. It made love look like leverage and partnership look like control. And while everybody was busy trying to look strong, nobody was learning how to be strong. Because real power don't live in the comments. It don't need an audience. It's quiet, steady, and rooted. It comes from knowing who you are when no one's watching. But that kind of power don't trend. It don't sell ads. It don't spark debates. So the system replaced it with this illusion, the kind that looks like confidence on the surface, but underneath is insecurity wearing designer clothes. You see it every day online, people claiming independence, but still chasing validation. People posting about self-love, but every word sounds like they're trying to convince themselves. People saying they don't need nobody, but still waiting on likes like they oxygen. It's wild because the message was supposed to be freedom, but what it really became was another kind of cage, a prettier one, but a cage still. And I get it, the world being unfair to women. They had to fight for space, for voice, for respect. But somewhere in that fight, the internet stepped in and said, we'll give you that respect, we'll give you that platform. But it came with a cost. It taught women to trade healing for hashtags, to swap growth for glory. It made the grind look good, but it took the soul out of it. It made people think being cold was the only way to stay safe. That's not empowerment, that's protection disguised as pride. And protection comes from pain. The truth is, a lot of people out here ain't angry because they hate men. They angry because they tired of being hurt. They tired of being misunderstood. But instead of helping them heal, social media handed them a megaphone and said, speak your pain to the world. It turned trauma into trends. Every heartbreak became a quote. Every disappointment became content. But what happens when the likes fade? What happens when the phone goes silent and the noise stops? You still gotta face yourself. Empowerment ain't about proving who don't deserve you. It's about remembering who you are regardless of who left. It's about walking in peace, not in pride. The real flex is emotional maturity. The real win is balance. You can be strong and still soft. You can be successful and still humble. You can be independent and still love without fear. But social media don't celebrate that. It celebrates the loudest version of pain. The illusion of empowerment made people forget that love is still powerful, that vulnerability is still brave, that forgiveness is strength. The system don't want that energy though, because healed people don't argue, they build. And when men and women start building again instead of battling, the algorithm stops winning. So the question ain't who's stronger, it's who's aware. Who's awake enough to see that half this empowerment talk is just pain dressed up in filters? Who's bold enough to unplug from the noise and get back to the truth? See, real empowerment don't need an audience, it don't scream. It moves different. It's in the way you carry peace when the world wants chaos. It's in how you speak life into yourself when nobody else does. It's in how you love without losing yourself, without needing to prove a thing. That's the kind of power that don't fade. That's the kind of power no system can sell. That's real. They figured out the easiest way to control people is to keep them fighting each other. That's how the game works. The algorithm ain't just some code on your phone, it's a mirror of human weakness. It studies what makes us angry, what makes us emotional, what makes us click, and it feeds us more of that. You scroll long enough, you start thinking the world's full of enemies, when really it's just showing you what gets the most reaction. Division equals engagement. and engagement equals profit. That's a cycle. Now look at how it plays out between men and women. Every clip, every post, every comment section, it's us versus them. Men blaming women, women blaming men. Everybody trying to prove a point instead of finding peace. The system learned that when you pit people against each other, you don't got to guide them anymore. They'll destroy each other while you count the clicks. That's what's been happening. You ever notice how balance don't trend? How love don't go viral like hey do? That's because peace don't pay. Calm don't keep people scrolling. It's outrage that makes the world spin online. The more triggered you are, the longer you stay. So they flood your feed with the extremes. Men who disrespect, women who manipulate, people who preach without practice. The worst examples get the biggest stage, so you start thinking that's the norm. You start losing faith in good people because all you see is the worst ones. That's the design. That's the algorithm of division. It don't care about truth, it care about traffic. It don't care if families break, if relationships fall apart, if trust disappears. It only cares that you don't log off. So it'll feed women videos telling them men are trash, that love's a trap, that all men cheat. Then it'll feed men videos saying women are users, that relationships are dead, that emotions are weakness. It's programming both sides with poison, just different flavors. And the crazy part is we fall for it. Every time we start carrying that energy into real life, people start walking around guarded, assuming the worst, not even giving each other a chance. A good man approach a woman, she already think he's letting a woman show interest. He already thinks she wants something. It's like we preloaded with distrust before the first word even come out. That ain't nature, that's design. The more divided we are, the easier it is to control us. Think about it. When men and women stop building together, who benefits? When families break down, who profits? When love turns into war, who stays rich? Not us. The same system that made the mess gets paid off to clean up. Relationship coaches, dating apps, revenge songs, reality shows, all of it built off the same energy division. And this energy don't stay online. It bleed into real life. You see it in how people talk to each other, how they treat each other. Everything became competition. Who need who less, who care less, who can walk away faster. But the truth is, nobody winning. Everybody just hurting differently. And the system feeding that hurt like it's fuel. It's deeper than gender too. This divide ain't just between men and women, it's between communities, between generations, between people who should be standing together. They keep us focused on each other's flaws so we don't look up and see who really pulling the strings. That's the hustle. You distract the people with chaos so they never unite with purpose. But here's the thing, once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. You start realizing not every disagreement gotta be a war. Not every post deserves a reaction. Not every opinion needs validation. Sometimes the most powerful move is silence, understanding and not letting the system dictate how you feel about your own people. If we use that same energy that we spend arguing online and put it into building with each other, we change the game overnight. We build families, legacies, and peace the algorithm can't control. That's what they fear the most. Unity. Because when men and women move with respect again, when love becomes cool again, when people choose understanding over ego, the machine loses power. See, division is easy. It's the shortcut. It don't take much to hate, but it takes wisdom to understand. It takes patience to listen. It takes strength to love in a world that profits off hate. That's the real rebellion, staying human in a system designed to turn you into content. So next time you scroll and you see them posts trying to make you pick a side, remember this. You're already on the right side if you choose peace. You're already winning if you choose to understand instead of attack. The algorithm can only divide you if you forget who you are. Once you remember that, they can't program your soul no more. Somewhere along the way, we stopped connecting for real. We stopped feeling each other. Everything turned into performance, into angles, into content. People don't talk to understand no more. They talk to be seen. They don't love to grow. They love to post about it. What used to be sacred became public. What used to be real became filtered. And now we living in a time where people know your story but don't know your soul. Social media made communication easier, but connection harder. You can hit 1 million people with one post but still feel completely alone. You can talk to hundreds in your DMs and not have one person who truly listens. Everybody's around, but nobody's there. That's the loss. It's not that we forgot how to love, we just forgot what love really looked like without the screen in front of it. It's wild, because people out here chasing attention like it's oxygen. But attention don't equal affection. Validation don't equal value. We post our highlights, our best angles, our achievements, But the real parts, the parts that need healing, those get left out. We created a culture where perfection is the goal, not connection. We compare instead of relate. We perform instead of express. And when you living like that long enough, you start mistaking the applause for love. Now relationships feel like transactions. Everybody negotiating their worth. What do you bring to the table? Became the most popular question. But nobody asking, do we even like each other? Do we even understand each other? Can we grow together when it's not easy? The love got replaced with logic. The warmth got replaced with walls. And everybody think protecting your heart means building a cage around it. We lost the depth. Back in the day, people used to sit down and talk, like really talk. They'd argue, cry, forgive, and build again. Now one misunderstanding and it's over. One bad day and it's ghost mode. We don't fight for love anymore. We swipe for replacements. Everybody replaceable in the age of options. But what nobody tells you is that options don't equal fulfillment. You can have 1,000 choices and still feel empty because connection ain't built off convenience, it's built off commitment. And that's what the system don't teach you. The world we in now sells independence, but hides the loneliness that come with it. It celebrates detachment, but never mentions the emptiness it leaves behind. People brag about being unbothered, but deep down they crave something real, something that don't need a caption, something that don't disappear after 24 hours. But that kind of love requires vulnerability, and vulnerability don't fit the image people trying to protect online. We built whole identities around being untouchable, but being untouchable also means being unreachable. You can't receive what you won't open up to. So you end up with people who look confident but feel hollow. People who talk about love but don't trust it. People who show up but only halfway. That's the silent epidemic. We out here surrounded by noise but starving for connection. You can see it in the smallest things. People hang out just to record it. Days feel like interviews. Every moment got to be documented to feel real. But the real ones know the best moments don't make it to the timeline. They live in the memory. They live in the silence after laughter and the way someone listens when you speak from your soul. That's connection, presence, not performance. What hurts most is how normalized the disconnect became. We scroll past pain like it's entertainment. We laugh at heartbreak clips like they comedy. We desensitize to emotion because showing care don't get clout. But that's exactly what's missing, empathy. Without empathy, love can't survive. Without vulnerability, trust can't grow. It's time to take it back. Time to unplug from the illusion. Time to remember what it felt like to sit across from somebody and feel understood. To hold a conversation without glancing at a screen. To build something that don't need proof to exist. Real connection ain't flashy. It's not loud. It's subtle, consistent, deep. It's in how someone shows up when it's not convenient. How they listen when it's not fun. How they love when nobody's watching. The loss of real connection ain't the end of it though, it's just a reminder. A wake-up call. The soul still know what he wants. Underneath all the noise, we still crave truth. We still crave love that don't need validation. So maybe the mission now is simple. Slow down. Be real again. Let people see you without the filters. Let love breathe without the pressure. Because when it's real, it don't need to perform. It just is. You got to understand, everything starts in the mind. The way you see yourself, the way you move, the way you treat people, it all comes from the programming that's been running since you was young. And somewhere along the way, that programming got corrupted. It's the world, the media, the trauma, that all put codes in your system that don't belong there. You've been running on fear, comparison, ego, and survival. That's why everything feel heavy. That's why love feel risky. That's why peace feel temporary. If you want different results, you got to reprogram how you think. So the system out here teaching us to be reactive, not reflective. It got us chasing validation instead of vision. It got people comparing blessings instead of creating. And it's by design, because when you're distracted, you don't grow. When you're emotional, you don't build. So step one in reprogramming your mind is awareness. You got to see the patterns before you can break it. You got to notice what triggers you, what drains you, what keeps you stuck. A lot of people blame life, but they never check their mindset. You can't win with a system that's still built to lose. They train people to believe that being cold means being strong, that detachment means discipline, that love equals weakness. But that's the lie Real power is emotional control, not emotional absence. Real confidence is quiet. Real peace don't scream. When you reprogram your mindset, you start realizing you ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. You just move with intention. You operate from purpose. You stop reacting to noise and you start responding to meaning. The problem is too many people let pain become their personality. They let heartbreak become their identity. And I get it. Pain changes you, but you get to decide how. You either let it make you bitter or you let it make you better. That's mindset. You can't heal in the same environment that hurt you, especially if your thoughts still live in there. You got to rebuild your mind before you rebuild your life. And that's the part most people skip. They want the results, not the rewiring. They want peace without patience. They want growth without discipline. But the reprogramming process takes time. You got to sit with yourself. You got to face the parts you've been avoiding. You got to question the beliefs that kept you stuck. The ones that say, all men are the same, or love don't last, so I don't need nobody. Those statements sound strong, but they really just scars talking. You can't move forward if you keep using your pain as proof. When you start changing your mindset, everything around you starts to shift. You start seeing that not everybody against you. You start understanding that people can only meet you as deep as they've met themselves. You stop taking things personal and start seeing patterns. That's growth. You start realizing that being peaceful don't mean you soft. It means you're in control. You ain't reacting to every little thing because you know every reaction costs energy. You learning to protect your peace like it's currency. You got to remind yourself daily, you're not what happened to you, you what you choose to become. After it, that's the real difference between being a victim and being a visionary. A victim stay in the story. A visionary rewrites it. You can't change the past, but you can change the meaning you give it. That's reprogramming. That's where freedom lives, in perception. And this ain't just about relationships. It was about everything, how you see money, how you see success, how you see love, how you see yourself. If you walk around believing you're not enough, you're going to attract people who confirm that. If you believe all connections end in pain, you'll keep finding proof of it. The mind is like soil. Whatever you plant, it grows. So if you keep planting fear, don't expect peace to bloom. But once you flip that mindset, everything different. You start moving with gratitude instead of greed. You start choosing love even when it's hard. You stop needing validation because you already validated yourself. That's when you step into alignment. That's when blessings start flowing natural, not forced. You ain't meant to stay stuck in old code. You meant to upgrade. You meant to evolve. You meant to see through the illusion they built for you and write your own program. That's how you break generational cycles. That's how you shift from surviving to thriving. The mind is the battlefield, but it's also the blessing. Once you master it, nothing outside you can control you. That's the real revolution. Mastering self in a world that profits off confusion. Reprogram your mind and you reprogram your destiny. Somewhere down the line, we forgot what real even looked like. Everything became about image, perception, status. People started chasing aesthetics instead of authenticity. The world got so caught up in appearing perfect that being genuine started to feel outdated. But real never went out of style, it just got quiet. It's still there waiting for the ones who value substance over spectacle, truth over trend, peace over popularity. We living in a world where people scared to be themselves. They scared to show flaws, scared to admit pain, scared to stand alone. Everybody want to fit the narrative the internet approves of. But being real means you ain't chasing approval, you chasing alignment. It means you walk in your truth even if it don't get likes. It means you stay grounded even when the world around you fake. That's rare energy now. But that's the energy that lasts. Realness ain't about struggle or toughness. It's about honesty. It's about knowing who you are and not switching up depending on who's watching. Too many people out here changing faces like outfits. One version for the internet, another behind closed doors. But the real ones, they consistent. They don't need to perform, they just are. Their energy don't come with explanation. Their presence speaks for them. See, social media turned people into brands. Everybody marketing themselves like a product. And in the process, they lost the human part. People forgot how to just be. Everything got to be curated, polished, perfected. But perfection don't connect, humanity does. When you show people the real you, the unfiltered, honest, vulnerable version, that's what resonates. That's what inspires. Because everybody tired of fake, tired of comparison, tired of pretending they okay when they not. Coming back to realness means coming back to humility. Remembering that status don't make you valuable. Character does. It means respecting yourself enough to stay authentic, even when it's uncomfortable. The world glorifies pretending, but there's a quiet power in being transparent and saying, I don't got it all figured out, but I'm trying. That's real. And that's what connects us. You can't build real relationships when you fake. You can't find peace living out of alignment. Realness is what creates solid foundations in love, in friendship, in purpose. Because when you real, you attract what's meant for you. When you fake, you attract chaos. Every mask you wear becomes a prison. Every lie you tell yourself becomes a wall between you and your blessings. That's why you gotta strip all that off. Go back to your essence. Back to what made you you before the world told you who to be. Being real don't mean you perfect. It means you honest about your imperfections. You own your past without being trapped in it. You take accountability without drowning in guilt. You grow, but you don't forget your roots. Realness got balance, it's strength and softness, it's confidence without arrogance, it's love without expectation, it's loyalty without agenda. That's what the world missing. We so used to highlights that we forgot about the process. Everybody want to shine, nobody want to grind. But real ones know the shine don't mean nothing without the scars that came with it. Realness ain't loud, it ain't flashy. It's in the way you move when nobody's watching. It's in how you treat people who can't do nothing for you. It's in your patience, your consistency, your peace. Coming back to realness also means cutting out distractions. Everything that make you feel like you gotta prove yourself, let it go. You don't gotta keep up with nobody. You don't gotta chase validation. The real flex is being content within yourself. The real win is being free from the need to impress. Once you stop performing, you start living. And when you live real, your circle change, your energy change. You stop attracting noise and start attracting meaning. You stop needing to explain your worth. People feel it. You stop chasing love. It finds you. Because authenticity always brings alignment. So return to realness. Speak truth, even when it shakes the room. Move with love, even when the world move with ego. Be solid, even when it's lonely. You ain't meant to fit in. You're meant to stand out by being yourself. The world got enough copies. Be the reminder that real still exists. Be the example that honesty still matters. When it's all said and done, trends fade, cloud disappears, attention shifts. But real lasts forever. Real never lose value. Real don't expire. And if you can live and leave something behind that's true to who you are, then you already won. At the end of the day, the internet ain't the enemy. The mindset is. In the moment we start letting likes define love and trends define truth, that's when we win again. So stop letting the algorithm teach you how to feel. Start letting your soul do that. Because the real ones know it's love that's rare and hate that's cheap. And I don't know about you, but I'm trying to live on love's side of history.